If you could all please join me in standing for the invocation that will be led by Dr. Allen.
Father, we are thankful for a new day to practice grace and love. So may we be wise in how we practice those things today. So thanks for our time and a new day. In your Son's name, amen.
And if Ms. Fields would lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. All right, our first order of business is to accept the July 12th, 2022 special school board agenda. Superintendent Hyde, are there any revisions?
There are no revisions.
Thank you, and I'll seek a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ms. Fortney and Ms. Fields. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. And we have one public comment card for agenda items, and that would be Ms. Stephanie Yoakum. And I would read my spiel, but I think you know it probably by
I'm
heart.
good.
So.
Stephanie Yoakum, 730 East Davison Street, Bartow, representing the Polk Education Association. I'm speaking on the agenda item, I believe it's Q2, for the ratification of our contracts. So I am very excited that we are able to be here today so early in the process, where we are usually a year or so out from an expired contract. We are here today before you with our units ratifying 95, 98%, coming before you for you guys to ratify our contracts before the school year starts. This is, I think, history-making in Polk County. And so I appreciate you guys convening this special session today so that payroll has time to start implementing these salaries so that our teachers and support staff can see their raises when they come back. I appreciate the collaborative nature and the way of work is changing in Polk County. Thank you, Superintendent Hyde. Your leadership has been extraordinary in this process. And board, I thank you for hiring him. He has been a game changer in this process. The consistent leadership from the board is appreciative of our staff, and we are here to thank you. And we're ready to get these contracts ratified. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right, the next item on the agenda is our first action item, Q1. And I will seek a motion to approve the First Amendment to Lease Agreement Building Tomorrow's Schools Incorporated in the amount of $32,777,000.
Move approval.
Ms. Fields, do I have a second?
Second.
I believe that was Mr. Wilson. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. Next will be Q2. And I will seek a motion to approve the PEA 2022-2023 salaries and revised contract language for teachers, paraeducators, and educational support personnel.
Move to approve.
Second.
Ms. Fortney and Ms. Miller. Any discussion? Ms. Fields?
I was just wondering if maybe somebody could kind of summarize exactly what we're doing, please.
Superintendent Hyde?
Would you like, just to clarify, are you asking for a summary essentially of what's included in this contract, or are you asking?
The highlights of.
Yes, ma'am. So if I could have Mr. Pitts and Mr. Warren please come forward. And while I'm deeply appreciative of Ms. Yoakum's commentary, I would say that this happened because of the entire team There are times where I can't be at the table, although I've attempted to be in negotiations every single time. But Mr. Warren and Mr. Pitts have done a phenomenal job, along with Ms. Jenkins, because the number crunching is really the most instrumental part of the whole thing, and we do want to maximize what we can provide for our teachers. But there's some exciting news in this contract for a lot of employees, both this and the ASME contract. But gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind briefly summarizing the highlights of the PEA contract we negotiated.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So the highlights of this contract, first, is that we were able to achieve the governor's minimum teacher starting salary of $47,500. We were previously at $45,487. And with meeting that minimum salary, we have a little more options in what we can do with the teacher salary increase allocation that the state gives the district. So we're very, very proud of that. Our most experienced teacher on a 10-month, 196-day contract who holds either a continuing contract or professional service contract or at the top salary of the grandfather scale will change in annual base salary from $64,282 to $65,850, which is a $1,568 increase. So for the grandfathered salary schedules, for those that were hired prior to July 1st, 2014, teachers holding a continuing contract or professional service contract, teacher network managers, these teachers were moved to a new schedule, adding between 2.44% and 2.84% instead of the 2.25% teacher on pay for performance schedules will receive due to transitioning to a new schedule. We created a new student services grandfathered salary schedule for teachers holding master's degrees based on a 216-day contract. These are mental health counselors, facilitators, psychologists, school counselors, social workers, and speech language pathologists. Psychologists will receive between 2.62% and 2.68% due to transitioning to this new schedule. On the performance pay salary schedule for teachers, the first three salary levels were collapsed to reach a new starting salary of $47,500. All other levels will see an increase of 2.25% with no salary level movement. The new student services performance pay schedule, again, replaces the old school psychologist schedule. Teachers holding a master's degree on a flexible 216-day contract will see an increase of 2.25% with the transition to this new schedule. Occupational therapists, physical therapists, and new sign language interpreter salary schedule. Employees will see an increase of 2.25% on their 21-22 salary level with no level movement. Eligible sign language interpreters will be placed onto this schedule to correspond with the years of experience for employees currently on this pay schedule. Advanced degree supplements for the year 2022-23. It's the second year of a 2-year agreement approved by the board on January 11th, 2022 to increase supplements. Effective July 1st, 2022, the advanced degrees will improve to the following. Master's degree, $3,162. Specialist degree, $4,517. Doctorate, $6,776. ESSER supplements for 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24. This was a 3-year agreement for these 3 years. Contingent upon the grant application approval, all instructional positions covered under the teacher CBA are eligible for $1,000 after taxes each year. The PCPS and PEA agree to work together to add the $1,000 into the salary schedule following the completion of the federal relief fund. So teachers do not see a loss of income after the 3-year agreement. For the teacher supplement salary schedule for 2022-2023, teacher mentor increased from $362 to $500 per mentee with specified requirements. Head assistant football coach increased from $2,563 to $3,100. Middle school athletic coach supplements and seasons were added. Senior high supplement pay schedules were clarified. ESE Learning Center Special Olympics coach fall and spring supplements were clarified. Fine arts school supplements, theater coaches increased to $2,000. Health contact, $200, clarified the training requirement for the designation and support for the clinic LPN paraeducator. Highly effective teacher on the grandfathered salary schedule was clarified. A new lead sign language interpreter supplement of $4,000. And for our educational support, clerical personnel, ESP and paraeducators, several positions were reclassified to higher pay grades following multiple joint meetings of the Job Description Review Committee with district administration, PEA staff, and employee representatives. With a new minimum wage of $15 an hour for the 22-23 school year, instead of September 2026, PA and the district tentatively agreed to the following changes to the October 12th, 2021 ratified 2-year salary agreement, originally with pay level advancement. One pay level advancement on the 21-22 pay schedule equals 3% raise. Instead of advancing one pay level, all educational support personnel and paraeducators will receive at least 3% added to their current 21-22 pay level. This equates to a pay level advancement on the 21-22 school year ratified pay schedule. Many educational support personnel and paraeducators will realize more than a 3% raise with a new minimum hourly rate set to at least $15 an hour. Those already at the top of their respective pay grades as of June 30th will receive at least a 3% raise. Paraeducator network managers will receive one pay level advancement equating to a 3% raise for 2022-2023. As a reminder, this group had a substantial pay grade enhancement in 21-22. PEA and the district will continue to work towards equalizing pay level increments for support staff pay grades. So the financial impact. The 2022-23 teacher salary increase allocation recurring costs are expected to be $29,757,994 unless funding is continued by the 2024 legislature. With the new $15 minimum wage affecting paraeducators, ESP, ASME groups, the PA support staff upgrades, the expected 2022-2023 salary increases in $15 minimum wage, the district expects to maintain a general fund balance of 4.4% as of June 30, 2023.
That was a very detailed summary.
I thank you for allowing me to read word for word.
Thank you. Mr. Warren, anything you want to add?
I just want to add back to the ESP. We were very proud of the work we did in the subcommittees with our work with the Secretary of Job Descriptions. We were able to break them out with specificity to what is happening at the schools relative to, we now have registrars, we'll have secretaries that are specific to working with finance under a specific job description, principal secretary, so as well as other job descriptions and positions that we clarified. It was a need, it was a very good collaboration, and we're very proud of that work that we presented as well as a, not just one party or the other, but it really was all of us going out into the field. They surveyed folks in the schools, what they did, brought it back in, and then we took and kind of digested that down to what you see in revised job descriptions and these new positions that meet the needs of our schools.
Thank you. Ms. Fortney? Oh, sorry, Ms.
I basically wanted that read so that everyone would know exactly what we are approving today, and to commend the staff and PEA and all the game changers for making this happen, and to know that all of the groups are being taken care of as best we can right now. And I'm sure that this is just a beginning step, and we'll continue to hopefully increase as we can. And I'm very pleased to see that we still have a decent fund balance at the end of the day that's being proposed. So I just wanted to make sure that it was on record.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Ms. Fortney?
Well, as a longtime teacher in Polk County, this is a first, I think. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to go through my data banks.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, right. And I think we all know that the compression of the salary is our next probably thing to tackle. I'm curious, does the DOE have to approve this, the Florida Department of Education, or is this
Can you
our
clarify?
CBA?
Can you clarify, approve what?
Approve our new salary schedule for,
No, our salary schedule will be specific to our collective bargaining that we have with our agency, with PEA.
I'm just trying to make sure there's no chance that somebody higher up filters through a concern that all of a sudden we have to deal with.
Well, I think I can probably best address that question. So I think from a legal perspective, and Mr. Bridges may or may not agree, but from my perspective, the only time that the department would weigh in on this matter would be should we fail to have attained the
Okay.
$47,500 minimum salary, or in this case, as we extend to the AFSCME contract, if we failed to meet the $15 an hour minimum, then yes, the department would, as they have. I mean, Ms. White and I traveled to Key West to go before the State Board of Education to talk about the Griffin Differentiated Accountability Plan, and kudos to them for earning a C this year and exiting differentiated accountability. I did not want to miss the opportunity to give them recognition. But at that meeting, there were several school districts that were there because they had not met some of the expected salary requirements. So as the state has provided more funding for school districts to meet those thresholds, they have a high expectation that we hit those deadlines. What I'm proudest about in this negotiation are two things. We were equitable, and we addressed countless issues across every department. It's not a perfect solution, but we're still working in areas where we continue to find deficiencies if they exist. But I'm really proud of the fact that we got to the $47,500 now. It makes us more competitive, and it allows us to recruit better, and so I'm proud of that work. So those would be the only instances I would see the department weighing in on our collective bargaining unit, or if there were some other piece of legislation that spoke specifically to a component within collective bargaining. For example, if we were to waive a right that somehow state statute or school rules indicate we don't have the authority to waive, then that would be something the department would take issue with. I mean, Mr. Bridges, I think I summarized it fairly well.
Yes, that is actually a very good summary. To put it in one sentence, they are not parties to our contract. They don't approve our contract. But if we were not compliant with the state law or regulation, we might hear from them.
Thank you. I watched y'all both down there. You did a great job. And I was glad I'm in Polk County and not some of those other districts after watching the whole thing. And last but not least, I know that, it's hard to please everybody all the time, but we are working on it. And I really do want to thank the staff that volunteered time to be on these teams, do the research, having sat in those positions prior. I know how much work it takes, and I just, I'm all for it, and let's move forward with consistency.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Ms. Miller?
I think it's kind of summed up, but I just want to say that since starting on the board, this is what we're doing today is amazing, and I really appreciate the work that's gone into it. Also, I do want to recognize that we have to work on compression, and for people that are concerned with that, we are as well. The support staff going from, it was very hard to recruit in that area, keep people long-term. I think we've made a huge gain in that area as well as our teacher salaries, and I'm looking forward to keep moving forward with the salaries. I just am so appreciative of the climate of collaboration in this district and the fact that we're getting to this now and not waiting until after the school starts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Any other discussion? Do we know when this will end up in paychecks?
So if the board approves it today, I'd have to verify with Ms. Torres. It probably would hit, I don't know if it'd be in time for the July 14th or July 11th pay period.
End of August.
End of August?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We will be very nice to Ms. Torres.
All
All
right.
right, I do have one question, sorry.
Dr. Allen?
Madam Chair, thank you. The competitive nature in me is, and if you guys ever want to play a board game with me to really demonstrate that, let me know. We say that we're ahead of schedule, right? So when you say we're ahead of schedule, comparative to, like how much ahead of schedule are we as it relates to, say, the top 5 districts, our competing districts? What would you say to that, Superintendent Hyde?
Well, I'd say they're actually two different things. If you may, please allow me to explain why I say that. When I say we're ahead of schedule, the department gave us a deadline
Correct.
in which we had to hit the 47,500. I believe we are 2 years ahead of that threshold. Ms. Jenkins is nodding approval. As far as where we are with surrounding districts, this was one of the reasons why we were trying to move negotiations and work collaboratively, even through vacations, even through weekends, to get all the language ratified, to get everything to a place where we could get this done, because we wanted to use it as a recruitment initiative as well. So I'd have to go back and do the analysis unless one of the others has already done so. Ms. Yocum, have you done that? Please come up to the mic. Where does 47,500 place us against the surrounding large districts?
So Orange County is at 47.5. They were there like 2 years ago. Lake County just went and hit that mark. They're a little above it now. Osceola, I think, is still below, but they're just now finishing up. So a lot of our surrounding districts are finishing up bargaining, but I think we will be one of the first ones to have it actually duly ratified, because a lot of them have not come before their school board yet. So I know Orange County just finished up, but it hasn't gone before the school board for a vote yet. So we were actually one of the first counties in Central Florida to finish. And I think we were, 5th in the state to finish. So I'm very proud of that. And I know these guys up here are very proud of that too.
Very proud.
And I think what better example of collaboration than bringing a union president up to confirm what other districts are paying and where we stand. But I will do the analysis and get you a summary of all the districts, and we'll share that with the board by Friday.
Great, thank you. Well done.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries. All right, the next item on our agenda will be Q3, which is our AFSCME contract. And I will seek a motion to approve the attached collectively bargained tentative salary agreements recently ratified by the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Fortney and Ms. Miller, any discussion?
Are we gonna do the same thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Fortney? Oh,
Could we ask for a summary as well? Thank you.
I won't read this one quite word for word. Highlights of the AFSCME contract include increasing the minimum base hourly rate from $11 to $15 an hour, retroactive July 1st. 2022, this increase results in a compression of salary levels to reach the $15 an hour. Salary levels not affected by the new minimum of $15 an hour compression will be increased by at least $1.75 an hour with no level movement retroactive July 1st. Employees already at the top, level A of their respective schedules as of June 30th will see an increase of $1.85 per hour retroactive to July 1st. That was for bus attendants, custodians, ERS, maintenance trades, vehicle service, and warehouse employees. For bus drivers, for 22-23, entry-level drivers with no prior experience will see an increase from $14.50 an hour to $16.25 an hour retroactive to July 1st. Driver salary 2 will increase from $15 to $16.75 an hour. All other levels will increase by $1.75 as well, with no level movement. Drivers already at the top level, level A as of June 30th, will see an increase of $1.85 an hour retroactive to July 1st, 2022. Total cost of the ASME raises this year is $9,579,067. And I'd also like to say compression in this group is also a serious concern. The movement from $11 to $15 an hour, we just did not have the funds to give an equal amount of raises for everybody, so that'll be our priority this year, this next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pitts.
Any further discussion?
I just want to say again, the same thing I said before, these folks that come in and work, give their own time, et cetera, I really appreciate them and the work they do in our schools and supporting our staff. I know I get pictures all the time from carpenters or how, thank you notes that kids have written for building stuff. And I mean, it's just amazing how much our people care.
Thank you, Ms. Fortney. Ms. Miller?
I didn't hear, maybe you read through the list. Can you talk about food service managers, how they fall in that? I didn't hear if they're in the salary scale. If they're not at the minimum, what would their increase be?
I don't have that information in front of me.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I know we've made progress, so if you could email that, I would appreciate it.
I will.
Yeah, we'll provide a summary to the board.
Thank you. But I do appreciate the work on this. This is the one area where I think Ms. Fortney is very clear. The people with the hearts have stayed in it long enough, being paid very low salaries. So anything we can do to help them, I think should be our goal. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Mr. Pitts, just a point of clarification, are cafe managers in the NUG group or in the ASME group?
I do think they are non-union.
And I believe that's why you don't see the information in here. So just for everyone's clarification, NUG, I'm sorry, it's just an acronym, the non-union groups employees. So this is where your administrators and others would fall under. I do believe that food service managers fall under that group, and that has yet, as you know, we always do our two primary employment groups, and then NUG group always comes after.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't realize that fell into a separate group.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll see that coming in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Near future. Thank you.
Ms. Fields?
Superintendent Hyde, do we have an anticipated timeline when the others will come?
For a non-union group, Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
We'd like to present that at the next workshop board
Great.
meeting, 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Ms. Miller?
Are you going to present that and then it'll go straight to the board meeting
Was my
in 2 weeks?
They won't go back to back. It'll be presented and then
And
come
then
to
go
a
back.
subsequent meeting.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
All right. Seeing no other discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries.
Just a point of clarification as well, we did receive confirmation during this meeting, Ms. Torres is clearly watching, or someone's texting her. So she emailed me directly and said that they will, all the raises will be included in the August 31st payroll, and it will be retroactive back to July 1st.
Thank you. All right, Superintendent Hyde, do you have a report for us today?
I do not, Madam Chair. Other than the next meeting, I apologize.
Wendy says that you do.
Were you going to say, yes, I do? The next work session and board meeting will be held on July 26, 2022. The work session will begin at 12:30 p.m. and the board meeting will begin at 5 p.m. Both meetings will be held at the Jim Miles Professional Development Center located at 4270 Wallace Road in Lakeland. We are also very close, just for a matter of board's reference and that for the community as well, we're very close to reverting back to our traditional board meeting place of the Bartow office. We were waiting for some remaining cabling to come in. As you know, that room has only been delayed because shipping delays related to the technology that goes into those rooms, but I believe they're pushing hard to get it ready for August. So I hope to be able to bring you some good news and say we're going back. I know many of you have popped in to look at the space. It's new carpeting. We moved many of the seats around, and the carpeting wasn't done just for clarification, for beautification purposes. As you know, one of the concerns with that room and the reason we continue to meet here was because of ADA compliance, that the steepness of the ramp was not ADA compliant. So that has been addressed. There's now a landing zone at the bottom for handicap accessible individuals. There's also a section up top. That's a flat section so people don't have to traverse the ramp if they so choose. There's also a dedicated space for media. So that way they would not interfere with the comings and goings of operations of that venue. As you know, it's a very small venue. So I just wanted to apprise you and give you an additional update. But in your Friday update, I hope to give you more specifics about when we expect to be back in there in August.
Thank you. Ms. Fields?
Capacity, Superintendent Hyde, what is the capacity going to be now for that room? Do you know?
If I recall correctly, there were only 4 seats removed at the bottom. There was no impact at the top. So I don't recall the previous capacity of that room. I can provide that information to you.
And then taking
In the past, we have allowed the Apple cafeteria to serve as the overflow. The other conference room, the superintendent's conference room, will not be accessible for overflow any longer. That policy has changed. That provides people with direct access to areas of the building that are, as you know, require a security code, and we will not allow access back there for anyone other than members of the board or staff. So, but the Apple a day will remain the overflow location for individuals attending board meetings.
So how are we going to deal with large groups that will come, and we know they'll be coming, after the capacity has been achieved, then we will not allow anyone else inside the building?
They can't be allowed in the building based off fire code,
Right.
but all this can be worked out and resolved. There are other areas within the main building that could be utilized, small conference rooms and other things that are readily accessible to the public through that front door entrance, but again, allowing them permission and access to other areas, secure areas is not. So we will have a plan for overflow phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And if we had to notice that there was going to be a large crowd, we could always revert back to Jim Miles for the sole purpose of that meeting, or a high school, which is not always, or the Bartow Center. There's plenty of options for us if we knew we were expecting a large venue or required a large venue.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
An attorney's report? Thank you. And we will go backwards today for board reports. So, Ms. Miller.
You always do that to me when I'm not prepared. Just kidding. I don't have much today. It's a very short meeting. I do want to brag on my own Kiwanis Club, Lakeland Kiwanis. On Saturday, visited Crystal Lake Elementary to help paint their teacher's lounge. Mr. Allen joined us, as well as Mr. Hyde, and I can say they said that's the first time the superintendents came to one of those gatherings on a Saturday morning with a paintbrush. But it was great. They're still not finished there. They're going to do new flooring. The Teachers Lounge will, thanks to the community partnerships with Sunshine Interiors, will look beautiful for our teachers and have a space for them. So I want to thank the Kiwanians that came out that day and the continued work they do. They work at Blake. There's a lot of people in this community dedicated to kids, and I just appreciate their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. And Mr. Wilson.
No report. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Ms. Fields?
I just want to do a shout out to Griffin Elementary School for doing what we knew that they could do, is getting a C grade. And I'm excited about what's going to be before us for the new year. I want to also thank Education Directions for their hard work as well. Shout out to Dr. Willis and her team, and Pat Barnes. So many people that were very impactful in not giving up on Griffin. We knew that they could do it, and they have proved us to be correct. We want to continue to support them, and we want to celebrate them, and I'm sure that we'll be having some type of celebration at the beginning of the school year. So I'm excited about that.
Their principal's next door in a meeting, and they've been celebrating since they got their grade. I know that, so.
I'm sure Miss BJ would definitely be celebrating. And I also wanted to shout out to Denison Middle School for achieving a C, and also Southwest Middle. And there are others as well, but those are some of the ones that kind of stuck out to me. And quite naturally, very proud that Kathleen High School was able to maintain their C. So we're just going to keep moving on, and we know that this is going to be a great year as we continue to do what's best for our kids.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Ms. Fortney?
Well, I had the pleasure of doing the stakeholder meetings with Dr. Ben Henry for two of my schools that had their awesome principals up and retire. And I want to thank all the staff and parents that came out for that. It was well run. And boy, I'm going to miss those two principals. But good luck to them and everybody else who's retiring. I know we have quite a few. I just appreciate your service. And I don't think people really realize the heavy lift that our schools did this past school year, like Ms. Fields said. So even our schools that are still struggling a little bit, help's on the way.
And we will be summarizing school performance at the July 26th meeting.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Fortney. And Dr. Allen?
Madam Chair, no comment today.
Thank you so much. And I have no report as well. We do have one public comment card. Bishop Mincy.
Wish y'all happy today. You got the report about your finance, your teachers. Y'all satisfied with teachers getting all the money they're gonna get, right? But the poor people still struggling. Y'all say you're gonna fix it. Board members, I want to say to you today, I know it's election year and y'all politicians know how to politic, right? But the people's eyes is on you. My eyes are on you. And I'm going to encourage you all to get out from y'all comfort zone and go into these schools and actually see what's going on and be an encourager to, y'all pick what you want to pick. I done been around. You pick what you want to pick. You pick the people you want to pick. You pick the groups you want to pick to pacify what you want to pick. But there's some other people out here now. Y'all get ready. There's going to be a game changer going to come into this district. And I done told the superintendent, get the wrong people in here, you're going to have trouble in the camp. And it ain't going to be easy. You're going to have a time trying to make it. So it's important, you see the importance of all people are important. Everybody, I thank God today, and I'm going to stay on my knees because Denison is your school, sister. I don't know if you ever been there or not, but God brought Denison out. Amen. Griffin, the Lord brought Griffin out. McLaughlin, the Lord blessed McLaughlin. It's through praying. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all do what you want to do, but I know what prayer can do. God has showed me too many times that he is with me and the people that I've encouraged. I wish I had all of my schools that I've been praying for this was in that turnaround thing, because I prayed for all of them because I know they was going through. But what people need from time to time is to be told something good, some encouragement, not all of the bad stuff. And then and if you promise another thing, boy, if you promise the people something, Mr. Hyde, if y'all promise the people something, do what you promise. Because your word, my mama always told me, your word is your bond. If your word ain't no good, you might as well go home and stop talking, or people won't pay you no mind. And somebody, I may not be writing it down, but there's somebody writing down and somebody going back watching these meetings that you have. They watching them, and they're going to come back against you. And the time it's going to tell is August the 23rd, going to tell the story. And if it be a runoff, November going to tell the real story of who's going to be sitting in these seats. because it's 4 of them got to go, right? So the thing I'm trying to tell you to do, get it right, because if you don't get it right, somebody that's going to be sitting across there.
Thank you, Bishop Mincy. And with no further business to come before the board, that will conclude our meeting.